What is earned value in project management? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what it is, what effects it has on a construction project, and what things you really need to look out for. So, earned value management is a concept used to measure a project's performance. It helps to measure the progress of a project by comparing it to how much work should have been put in place for the project to date. So let me go ahead and give you a bit of a breakdown. In EVM, there's the planned value, or PV. This is the value of work that should have been completed by a certain time. It's basically a budgeting amount for that work up to that point. Earned value, or EV, is essentially the value of the work that has been completed up to that certain point. It's basically the value or the budget number of the work that has actually been completed, not just the amount that should have. And then you have actual cost, or AC, which is the actual cost of the work put in place up to a certain point. And using these metrics, you can now do some calculations. And here's basically what it is. The Cost Performance Index, or CPI, calculates earned value as divided by actual cost. And then a CPI less than 1 indicates that the project is over budget. The Schedule Performance Index, or SPI, calculates earned value divided by planned value, and an SPI less than 1 indicates that the project is behind schedule. Your Cost Variance, or CV, takes the difference between your earned value and actual cost. A positive CV means you're under budget, and a negative CV means that you're over budget. Schedule variance, SV, is the difference between your earned value and your planned value. A positive SV means you're ahead of schedule, and a negative SV means that you're behind schedule. The bottom line here is that you have a budget amount for the work that should have been completed to date, and then you have the actual budget amount that has been completed to date, and the actual cost of the work. By comparing these numbers, you track how your project is doing. So the bottom line is that you are incentivizing more work to happen sooner. And you're evaluating that based on cost. And it seems like a pretty common sense way to measure the success of a project. It seems like it would be pretty effective, but here's the problem. This is what nobody realizes. When you look at a project, and again, you have this vertical axis of work in process and this horizontal axis of time, and there is a line that indicates the capacity of the project, meaning the resources, the crews, the people, the equipment, the trade partners, the local region. There's a line that represents capacity. When work in process, or the pushed work in process, or the demand for work in process exceeds capacity, then you enter into a productivity spiral. So we always use the freeway analogy example. So if you have more cars on a freeway or less cars on a freeway, which one will get you to work faster? Obviously, less cars on a freeway. The less utilized that resource is, the faster you go. Let's talk about a grouping of cars. Let's say we took 20 cars and we were like, we want those 20 cars to make it to the end as fast as possible. Will they get there faster if the freeway has more cars added, or less cars with more flow? The answer is obvious, right? The other thing is, if you're on that freeway and there's a roadblock or an accident, will the roadblock get cleared faster and increase the speed if you add more cars or less cars? The answer is obvious. Anytime you increase work in process, or the utilization above the capacity of the resource, every single thing goes slower. So when you have that line on a construction project of what resources can actually produce, right, their capacity, and you exceed that, then it's like a freeway with too many cars. Everything slows down. And so then your project extends and extends and extends and extends. And the reason EVM is not good in any aspect, in my opinion, is because it pushes work. It incentivizes people to do two things. One, to order materials and pay for them sooner than is needed, which means you're not delivering just in time. And then two, it encourages more and more work to be piled faster, more areas, more early starts. Like, let's crunch the schedule so that we can meet these metrics for EVM. And as we've already learned, that will only extend your overall total project duration. In summary, you cannot overutilize a resource because it will take longer. You cannot increase work in process above capacity without consequences. Like, these are not things. And so EVM will incentivize you to fail your project. You will end up in a productivity spiral if you do this. It is not a good measurement. There are some times where you literally want to delay something. There are some times where you'll want to wait. There are some times where you will not take the aggressive advantage. There are some times where you will maintain a flow instead of stacking. There are times, and that's most of the time actually, where you will prioritize production principles over this really quite silly measurement of EVM. And so if you start to measure the success of your project by how much work has been paid for and in place, you're increasing work in process. If you start to rush and push and panic that, you are draining the capacity of the team. If you start to actually hold to that and you get behind and you panic even more, you will crash land your project like nobody has ever seen. Let me tell you a story. There was a scheduling director that loved CPM, loved EVM, loved all of these garbage measurements, and I was in that same organization politicking for Takt and Takt plans and optimization and creating stable environments and really good project pre-planning. And he was like, no, let's get everything into P6. We can manage all these reports in the EPS. We can implement EVM and all these things. Now, before I got to that organization, they were at about 62% of projects completing on time, and that rose to 88% and climbing using Takt. Once they implemented the overall CPM system and started to do the EVM recommended calculations and managing and measuring the success of their projects, it started to spiral again until he was let go. This is a real story. You cannot implement this. It will tank every single aspect of a construction project. And so earned value management manages and measures a construction project success by how much work has gone in place and how much we have paid, but that will only rush and push and panic and cause a productivity spiral. What we should be doing is managing a production system and focusing more on flow than anything else. So I hope this video has opened up your eyes, helped you out. I'm going to give you a beautiful Canva graphic that shows what EVM is all about and some of the warning signs that you must pay attention to. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.